I say this all the time. If video game developers wanted to make a boatload of money, they would listen to our feedback. But time and time again, they say we don't really know what we want, or oh, our feedback isn't good enough. And now the same exact thing is happening with the Fallout creator, claiming video game devs have no idea what gamers want, but they're blaming gamers for providing bad feedback. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I love seeing vets in this industry speak out with their thoughts on the state of it, them try to give their feedback and put their expertise to work. But unfortunately, so many people end up being extremely salty that they are not relevant anymore. And instead of respecting the very people that made them popular and their games famous in the first place, they attack us, like David Jaffe, for example. He's salty. He's no longer part of the mainstream. So what does he do? He attacks gamers and he tries to bait content creators into getting into arguments with him because he's desperate for a little bit of cash. And now Tim Kaine, one of the creators of Fallout, recently declared that video game developers and studios have no clue what gamers want because we are bad at providing feedback, which is hilarious in my opinion. It is not our jobs to do your job. Yeah, we could give suggestions, but at the end of the day, if you suck at your jobs or you do not care about what we have to say, it's still your fault that your game is failing. So in a recent upload to his YouTube channel, he stated, "I want to give you the raw, unfiltered response to do devs know what gamers want?" And here it is. No, we do not know what you want. We have no idea, seriously, what you want. As for why he believes that game developers do not know what gamers want, he elaborated. Here's the longer answer, and it's all kind of summed up as because you don't know either, which is so hilariously out of touch. There are gamers who spend tons of time on social media every day critiquing products and giving their opinions. Like me, for example, I stream tons of video games every single month and every single year. And I try to give my honest feedback. I have categories where I go, oh, is the music fitting? Was there not enough music? Did I think the UI was bad? What would I change about the UI? Oh, I didn't like these characters, or I love these characters, and here are the reasons why. And there are millions of gamers who do that on social media on like a daily basis. It is mind-boggling to me that people like this sit here and say, we don't know what we want, when we are very honest with how we feel and we say what could be improved. Whenever we do that, though, we're called racists or sexists or homophobes because if a game contains one black character, oh, we must hate the game because of that one black character, so we're racists. Or, oh, there happens to be a LGBT couple, oh, we're homophobes because we criticize them. Like, it unfortunately has reached a point where we can't criticize, and then you guys don't listen to us when we try because you chalk it off as some istophobe attack on your product. And I also think that it's pretty rich that people like him want to put their 2 cents into a conversation yet ignore total issues like the state of the industry and their focus on DEI. They are not trying to create high quality, really enjoyable entertainment anymore. They're focused on chasing those sweet, sweet ESG dollars. And when we complain about that and when we criticize that, people like him just say, oh, we're ists and we're phobes. And it's so sad because we are voicing what we do and do not like. We do not like when you have female characters overshadowing and replacing their male counterparts. We do not like things like body types A and Bs being in games. We do not like when you constantly are trying to shove an agenda in our face, but he's going to completely ignore that because he still is shilling for the industry and he is still ultimately just trying to blame us for the failure of video games. Like, look at Concord, for example. It's not my fault that they came up with really terrible map design designs a really mediocre set of characters, and their designs were atrocious, and it was overpriced for the experience that they were giving us. It's not my fault Kill the Justice League completely trashed the legacies and established characters that were already within the Arkhamverse, and you had them throwing away those storylines to try to chase a modern message and try to make Harley Quinn into like this cringeworthy raging feminist, and then having Greta Thunberg Ivy. Like, these are things that are not going to sit well with people. And when we say that, developers within the mainstream industry are ignoring us. It's not our fault that that is happening. It's the developers' faults that they are creating those products in the first place, thinking that they're going to be major sellers. He explained, first off, many of you tell developers what you hate. Great. You said what it is you don't want, but what is it that you do want? When you keep saying, I hate this in games, I hate this feature, I hate these kinds of characters and all that, great. What kind of characters do you want? If you hate sarcastic characters, well, there's an entire realm of non-sarcastic characters, but what is it you want? Do you want funny characters? Do you want serious characters? Do you want characters with a lot of background? Do you want characters with very little that you don't want to spend a wall of time and a wall of text of dialogue? What do you want? That's what you have to tell us what you want, and not what you don't want. But that is a ridiculous concept. Of course, we have to tell you what we do not like, because that is what you are presenting to us. Because when you are making a game, you are supposed to be creating what you think you are best at. So if we are saying you're not the best at creating a sarcastic character, that just means that maybe you shouldn't create those characters, or have so much of a focus on them, or have somebody else writing those types of characters on your team. Maybe we say, oh, we actually do not like the UI of this game. It's not our job to sit here and design and paint a better UI. We're not supposed to sit here and copy and paste elements of your UI and remove things we don't like, because then why aren't we getting the label of video game developers? Why are we not getting paid for it? Clearly, there are things in modern games or even older games sometimes that gamers have responded to that we clearly do not like. Look at failed titles like Concord, Dustborn, even Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. A lot of us have spoken at lengths about what we didn't enjoy with these experiences, from character models to gameplay to level designs, and you should be able to look at that and say, okay, clearly it's this mixture of things that did not work with these experiences, and we don't want to try to replicate that because it wasn't good. One of the problems, just like with Hollywood, is that no one can write anymore or design anymore. It's not because gamers aren't telling you what they do and don't want. It's your fault that you aren't implementing it or listening to us. It's the job of the creative to create, not the job of gamers. If I'm going to sit here and tell you how to make a UI, I should be getting paid for it. And I'm not going to sit there and do that. Again, it's your job. You're getting paid. You're designing characters. You're designing UIs. You're coming up with storylines. I mean, it's your reputation on the line. And if this is the way that you want to respond, you're only going to make people dislike you even more. Imagine if someone working on a movie script said, this movie sucks because all of the people who watch movies aren't telling us what we should have done with that one plot twist. Oh, they're not telling us how to make these two characters like each other more in a way that they're going to understand. Like, that is so absurd that you would even sit here and say that. And again, Tim Kaine is a industry veteran. I like work that he's done. I want to sit here and have a general level of respect for him, but my God, how out of touch can you truly be with the people you need to sell copies of games to? And he noted that even if gamers do explain what they want, it's vague. He said, even when you say what you want, you're often extraordinarily vague. You will say, I want a better game, I want better AI, I want better UI. Yeah, I'll just slide the better slider from okay to great on all of those. And sure, there are going to be times where people are not descriptive enough, but again, it's not my job to sit here and tell you how to make a game or what makes the UI amazing. in other titles versus your title. Like, this is just very twisted logic, at least in my opinion. And I want to sit here and I want to say how amazing he's been in the past and the amazing work that he's done in the past, but it really just reminds me of David Jaffe, where they're grasping for attention because they know that they've lost a lot of their relevancy. And instead of trying to say it really is the fault of developers for just not being good enough at their job, they don't want to trash the mainstream industry. And so they flip the blame on the audience, saying, oh, it's gamers' fault that they don't know how to provide better feedback. And even they don't know what they want, which is totally and completely absurd. So I will be keeping my eye on this situation to see if he makes a follow-up statement and if he tries to say, oh, content creators are being a little mean because they're criticizing my awful take on gamers and the video game industry and just showing a general level of disrespect towards the people that made you popular and that made you a lot of money in the first place. So I'll be keeping my eye on this to see if he makes any other statements. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.